The song I have chosen today is Nuclear by Mike Oldfield, and I will be delving into the background of the song, of how it was created, what it ultimately means, the tone of the song, and why it is one of my personal favorite songs, and how I'm emotionally attached to it. So Mike Oldfield is a famous musician who is most well known for doing the Exorcist theme song from the movie The Exorcist. Uh, and in 2014, he released an album called Man on the Rocks, and with that, it featured the song Nuclear. The song has a very somber and a tone of absolute desolation to it, and there's actually a very interesting story behind the song itself. So, to give a bit of background, this song is about his grandfather coming home from World War One as a completely different person, being changed by the horrors of war. And as he explained in an interview with the Daily Telegraph, he told them that he had hired a team to uh, figure out the life of his grandfather before the war and after World War One. And he also traveled around Ypres and the battlefield museums that it had, and even went to his grandfather's regiment who had died in the war. So one of the biggest things he wanted to do was convey the emotion of coming home from war and how broken some people are or how they're completely changed. And so a little snippet from the chorus, it's it says, "I'm nuclear, I'm wild, I'm breaking up inside." So that's kind of the very main theme of the song, is just how utterly destroyed his grandfather felt when coming home from war. And the nuclear part is probably kind of a reference to the upcoming World War II, and how these people went through a horrible experience and it's just going to happen again, which is really, really sad. Uh, he also just kind of wanted to put this into a musical form, because music is a great medium to convey emotion. It is one of probably the best to convey emotion in of itself. And I really love this song because not only because it sounds good, but because it has a very personal stake in his life, and I can kind of identify with how it feels. I'm not going to stand here and say that I know what it's like to come home from war, because I obviously don't. It's probably one of the most horrible things to experience. But back in 2013, my house was destroyed by a tornado 3 days before my birthday. And it was one of the most scarring moments of my life because I had developed PTSD, which a lot of people coming home from war develop themselves. And I had a mild form of it, but even though it was mild, it was still horrible. I had severe nightmares, panic attacks, just outside. And just to think of that emotion that I felt, that those people felt 100 times more than me, is just so heartbreaking. And the reason I love this song is just because of how well it conveys that emotion of just not being completely well and trying to put up this mask, but it just slipping and you're just being a completely different person. And so this song conveys that emotion perfectly, and I just truly love it for that. So ultimately, I just shared the song Nuclear by Mike Oldfield. You can listen to it hopefully in the description of this video or on the discussion board. I really recommend checking it out because it's a very good song. And I also explained about its themes, a little bit of background about it, and how it ultimately meant to me, and how well it conveys the emotion of coming home from war and how people can identify with kind of its emotions that it evokes